Nebraska. I'd like to teach you today how to make an ice luminaria. Your finished product will look like this once the candle is inside. It's very simple to do this. What I would recommend is you go to a hardware store and buy just a 5-gallon bucket. Eventually these buckets get sort of bowed out at the bottom, and you can still use them. I just keep them every year just for my luminarias, since they do have this non-flat bottom. What you then do is you fill the 5-gallon bucket with cold water, and I don't fill it to the top. I sort of leave, maybe 2 inches down from the top, but fill it with water. And then what I do is I set them outside on my deck. I like to put them under a roof so that if it snows, they don't get snowed on. And then I just set them outside. If it's about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, it will take about 24 hours for them to set up properly. And what you're looking for to know that they're adequately frozen is that if you look down into the bucket, you'll see that there's sort of 2 rings. An outer ring that's the ice, and then an inner ring that's still the water. And I don't know if you can see that. Sometimes you can see it easier than other times. Sometimes you have to move the bucket a bit to see the 2 separate circles. And then what I do after it's sat outside and frozen, and I can see that inch or 2 inches of rimmed ice, I then take it inside into a heated garage or set it in front of a space heater and maybe just leave it there for a short time, maybe inside a heated garage for half an hour or in front of a space heater for maybe 15 minutes. What you're trying to do is just to let enough thawing occur so that you can remove the ice from the bucket. Then what I do is I walk outside and I sometimes will use a tarp. And then what I do is I just take the bucket and turn it over onto the tarp, and it then just comes out. And so what you have is then part ice on the outside and water on the inside. And what you want to do is just let this water out. And there's different tools that are sometimes helpful. This is sort of a pick that I think is used for to sharpen knives, but it works well. Or sometimes if it's really frozen, I'll use this rubber mallet. But what I do is I just make a hole in the top and just lightly punch, and you'll hit into the water cavity. And then sometimes once you're there, just using the mallet can be helpful. And you're just trying to get through this one layer. And then once you're into the water cavity, I just sort of punch out the top there. And then make a kind of a smooth edge, and then you can dump the water out. You want to dump this in a place that if it freezes, you won't have to walk and don't mind having the ice underfoot. And I use the tarp because I don't get snow on my luminaria. And so then what you have is the luminaria looks like this. And you can then just set it, by your house. Abby, Sam. You can set it by your house and to greet people, and just set a candle inside. There's different kinds of candles that you can get. Before I forget, I should say I use these gloves that are rubberized, and you can even get them with sort of felt lining, and that way you don't mind if your hands get wet. And I also use boots with rubber on the bottom also because I don't mind getting a little bit wet. There are different candles you can then put in your luminaria. There's this kind of candle, but I sometimes find that the wick will fall out of the candle as I'm trying to put it in the luminaria. And at 10 degrees below 0, that's kind of hard. So sometimes these ones that have the metal at the bottom where the wick won't fall through is better. And then what I do is you can have one of these that you've kind of kept warm maybe inside and light it, and then just set it down inside your finished Luminaria. And as it gets darker, it gets really pretty as the light shines through the ice. If they fill up with snow, that's not really a problem, because you can just reach inside, pull the snow out, and maybe just put in a new candle. So I reuse them during the season. What I'll sometimes do is I'll then take my finished Luminarias and I'll set them, and if they do get snowy, what I'll sometimes do is have this knife, and you can take them and just remove the snow and ice from them. But then I'll set them just underneath my deck, again underneath on the tarp. If I set them on a tarp, they don't stick to the tarp, and I can line up a whole bunch of them, maybe make 7 at a time, and do that for 4 consecutive nights, and I end up with 28 Luminarias or so. So that's kind of how you do it, and I hope it's a great Christmas gift, very cheap, and it really brings a lot of joy and light to the night. So anyway, have a happy holiday, and goodbye from Alaska.